issues.
Sorry, Ed.
Nope.
You know, guys, right here it says at the front in the very first page, and hey, Matt, just so you know, brother, I don't know if you can see this, I got my 2.0 book out for you.
Thank you, brother.
Aha. My man.
Yeah, just to kind of let you guys know, we got a few other people on the call now. I just let Greg in, and I just let Brandy in as well. So, guys, right here at the front, it's just, you know, man, accepting
Good morning.
situation. Good morning. Accepting your current situation is it sometimes is a tough thing to do, but it says the great truth, one of the greatest. This is the great truth, one of the greatest truths. It is a great truth because once we truly see this truth, we transcend it. Once we truly know that life is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult. Because once it has been accepted, the fact that life is difficult no longer matters, right? Most do not fully see this truth that life is difficult. Instead, they moan more or less incessantly, noisily, or subtly about the enormity of their problems, their burdens, and the difficulties as if life were generally easy, as if life should be easy. Guys, we all have kids, okay? I tell my kids all the time, hey, man, being a grown-up's forever. You know, enjoy being a child, because it's forever. Being a grown-up's forever. And we all know that being a grown-up comes with bills, right? Always bills, always trying to keep the wolves at bay. So accept it. And I just think kind of holding that and accepting it and just going, you know what, man? And that speaks to me because there's a lot of things out there I just don't accept. You know, right? Anybody's thoughts on that first little bit right there?
Well, I'll tell you that Kaylee was just fussing and she stopped whining when she heard you talking about you gotta, get over it.
Brandy,
She's
you're
all
welcome for the
this morning, so thank you, Todd.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's the little things. So our decisions are often impacted by, number one, the proximity to the problem, right? Number two, our place as leaders will always be filled with problems. Guys, I cannot tell you how. I guarantee you, some days I'm a thorn in Van's side. I guarantee it. Not to be rude, not to be, but because I know me, I know who I am, and sometimes, it's difficult. But Brad and my personality, they're similar, but they're different. Ed and my personality, they're different. Matt, same thing. The guys, as a leader, there's problems coming at you from all over the place. You got people who come in, they've got debt, they've got issues at home, they've got car problems, they've got kid problems, they've got, whatever. So you're always going to be filled with not just your problems, okay, which are important. Your problems are important. So find a sounding board. Ed, get a bigger cup of coffee.
I know. You promised me one.
But other people's problems, guys, right? Other people's problems. Number three is pragmatism serves us well as leaders. Being pragmatic, right? Number four, believing there is always an answer is an asset. There's always got to be an answer to the problem. Anybody ever called Van with a question about a policy or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
What did he say?
What is his
Yes.
answer to you?
Call customer service.
Yeah,
Call customer service. That's right.
Well, his answer to me, and Brad will be able to probably say this verbatim. So when you called the company and asked them, what'd they say? Right? And then you go, oh, I didn't call the company. And his next response, for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says. Okay. So guys, he wants you to kind of solve it yourself, because if you solve it, then you'll be able to teach others. Okay. And right here it says in the notes, hey guys, problems aren't bad. They're not a bad thing. Okay. It gives creative tension. Like I said, obstacles are in the way of life. It wasn't for obstacles, there'd be no power. Guys, this is where what Van is doing is teaching you to solve the problem. Whether you like the verbiage or the way that it's happening, he's teaching you to solve that problem. Okay, and that's kind of what we need to do with this job. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I was going to mention right here, y'all. When I'm doing final interviews with folks, and I've done a lot of them in the last couple of weeks, one of the things when I get down to the end is, hey, I'm going to ask you to commit to 4 things, and one of them is just having fun and having a great attitude. Because yes, you will get challenged and frustrated, but your attitude and how you work through that is a choice. There is a big difference, and y'all, I would highly suggest writing this line down, because it's a game changer for you. There's a big difference in being hung up on a problem versus being focused on finding a solution. Okay, I'll say that again. There's a big difference in being hung up on a problem versus being focused on finding a solution. I'm telling you, anytime you're dealing with if you're flustered or you got anxiety about something or you got something going on, quit worrying about the problem. Stop focusing on the problem. Focus on finding the solution to it, and it will make everything so much easier. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
Those words. No, man. I'm thinking to myself, that's powerful, because I get hung up on problems, right? And then it holds you back. It handcuffs you.
Yep.
I just started laughing because I remember reading this little thing over here in the thing. It says the hardest thing about milking cows is that they never say milk. Right?
Okay.
How funny is that? You got to keep doing. Hey, man, didn't we just milk them yesterday? Yup. Okay. Believing there is always an answer, like Brad just said. Okay. Know that there's an answer. Hey guys, we may not figure it out today, and we might not be able to solve a problem today, but there is an answer, and that's kind of an outlook that I envy. When I was in, here's the funny thing, guys. When I was in the life class this weekend, the guy said, "Hey, is the cup half empty or half full?" And then he goes, "I'm going to tell you guys something right now. The cup's always full. It just has some liquid and some air." And I thought to myself, what an awesome way to look at it. Oh no, my cup's half full. No, it's always full. It's just a matter of what's in it, right? So, anybody's thoughts on those things so far? And I'm on, just so everybody knows, I'm on 100, page 100 in the 2.0, just to kind of follow through with everybody. Our actions can make our problems increase in number and size. Who's ever made a problem bigger than it was?
All of us.
Yeah, me.
Correct.
All the time.
So, kids. Oh my God, they start freaking out. Like this morning, I couldn't find my AirPods, man. I hate losing stuff. And I finally just said, you know what? I don't have time. I got to go. Instead of making the problem bigger, which I can easily do by getting flustered and upset, right? A cancellation. Somebody's got a problem with their policy. We can either get super upset and make the problem bigger. The problem is, hey, they canceled, or hey, there's a pen. We can get upset and make it bigger, or we can go, let's solve the problem. A perfect thing is, when I'm out in the field and I'm training with people, a lot of people, when you first start, oh, Todd, I'm following up with Bill today, man. I demoed him last week and he said, come back. I got, four more follow-ups today just with people that, whatever. And guys, when I'm in the car, I don't say anything to anybody about it. I make a mental note, and I don't say anything. I rode with a guy one time, and he had a stack of cards, like this tall, and I was like, okay, what's that stack of cards? He goes, that's people we're going to follow up with. I said, why are we following back up with them? Well, I demoed them, and they said, that they had to go talk to their spouse, or they said, oh, man, I really wanted it. Let me go home and check my finances, and blah, 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 whatever. Add whatever you've heard before. Guys, my response is, don't go back. You go back, you're making the problem bigger, but it won't be until you get tired of going back that you have a stronger buying atmosphere. It won't be until that you are tired of it until you develop a stronger buying atmosphere. And I have literally had people in the field call me and say, Todd, I'm tired of it. I'm working on my buying atmosphere. Because, guys, it happens to every single person out there. And, hey, newsflash, guys, the majority of people that you go back and see, they don't buy. They forget to talk to their spouse. Right? I had a guy call me, and he said, hey, man, I don't have my account number on me. 6 weeks later, he called me and said, Todd, I am getting my account number, man. I'm good to go. Don't worry about it. Guess what? Still don't have it. Do I go by and see him and waste my day? Nope. I don't have time for that. My day is not filled with following back up with people who can't go by the bank for 30 seconds and get their account numbers, right? Problems handled well often make us better. Again, this is the reason that we are always trying to you give a man a fish, he eats for the day. You teach a man to fish, he eats for life. Same thing with a problem. You solve a problem for somebody, it's solved. You teach them how to solve it, and now they don't need you to help them solve it. They can solve it themselves and teach other people, right? Agree or disagree?
100% agree.
Agree.
I agree with that, Todd. And one thing that I'll share, I'm driving down the road, but, when I worked at Lowe's, I was the sales manager there, and my sales specialist, a lot of times I would fix their install issues with them. And guys, all I was doing during that time was handicapping them because I felt I needed to do that. So I felt needed. But when we do that, we're disabling our people to be very dependent on us, and that's not what we need to do.
Correct. If our people are 100% dependent upon us to solve all their problems, what are we going to be less likely to do?
Do our jobs.
Move on to the next person.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't teach your kids to tie their shoes, what are you always going to do?
Tie them damn shoes.
You're going to tie their freaking shoes. And I got 5 kids, man. I'm not going to sit there and tie 5 kids' shoes. Right? It's like, man, for crying out loud, let's just do this, man. And I love the problem promise, man. When you handle them well, problems promise to make you better. We don't see it sometimes. I don't see it sometimes. But guys, this is in everything. It's in work. It's in your marriage. It's in your friendships. If there's a problem between you and your spouse, you and your business partner, you and your son, you and your daughter, guys, once you guys solve it, it usually gets a little better, right? It usually helps out a little bit. So, anybody think of an instance where a problem kind of helped them out and built them up to be a little bit better?
Yeah, I'm divorced.
Yep.
I grew a lot from that.
I am as well. Yep, she grew a lot from that.
Oh man.
Sorry, Brandy.
I mean, I think I beat you all. I moved to another country. How about
Hey,
that for a
look
problem?
at Yeah. I mean, man, that's
Absolutely.
problem solving 101, 201, 301.
I'm sorry.
Good for you, Ed. I said that's problem solving to a whole new level, man. So yeah, good for you, brother. Problems introduce us to others, right? Either
Yep.
within the problem or within those fixing it, right?
DMV.
Yep. Sometimes I love this right here when it talks about this chapter, this little section right here that says people who become problem magnets. Sometimes I feel like that, right? Sometimes you feel like, you know, oh my God, all they ever want to do is talk to me about their problems. But it's tough. You got to be a sounding board for other people, guys. Whether you want to or not, you've got to be a sounding board for other people. And, you know, I talk about, you guys know, everybody on Team ILM, I love them. I love them to death. You know, Zach was in the crapper a few months ago, man, and I could just see it on him when he came in. And Zach's not usually like that, you know. He's usually the one that kind of lifts everybody up and hey, good morning, beautifuls, you know, stuff like that. And I just knew that my place was to be with Zach for that day, right? And I said, hey man, what do you got on the plate today? He's like, Todd, man, I just don't I don't think I got what it takes today. And I said, cool, what are we doing? And him and I just spent the day together. You know, we went out for lunch. We went out for lunch and we went for a walk in the park, this local park, Carolina Beach State Park. Brandy knows it. I'm sure she went to some parties over there at some point or whatever, you know, illegal because the gate closes at dark.
My 16th birthday was in that park.
That's awesome. But, I mean, and that's what we did, guys. Because in order to help try and solve the problem or at least be a sounding board, I just needed to give up everything. Right? This is one right here, and this is one of the sections that kind of spoke to me as well. Because I've had people almost give up like this, okay? People who give up in the face of problems. How many people know somebody who's given up because of a problem?
I've done it myself.
Everybody has, dude.
Yep.
You know, this is and Matt. I mean, sometimes I wonder, did I give up on my first marriage, and then, you know, guys, we fought it for 5 years, and I wonder if after 5 years if I gave up too early. Right? Not gonna make it better, but sometimes, you know, it does. Sometimes it's a gut punch, and you go, man, did I give up? How about people who can't pass the test? How about people who can't get the approach right? The demo, the close, buying atmospheres. What do? They just end up giving up, right? And does giving up help anything, or does it kind of start a precedent for you in the future? Hey, man, when you give up, it's over.
In the mighty words of Captain America, if you start running, you'll never stop.
Correct. Go Captain America.
Yep.
El Capitan Cubano.
Yeah. But I mean, it is so true, man. If you and I'm saying, you know, like marriage stuff, it's a different kind of animal, different kind of problem. But as far as work is related, if you start running from that, you will never stop. It's like people who go to church and say, "Oh, I'm living this church. There are too many, you know, liars in this church." And I'm going, dude, If you go to the other church, it's going to be the same amount of liars. So it's the same thing with problems. What about the approach? What about, your buying atmosphere? What about your closing? Just get better at it. It is not something we need to improvise. It is something we need to memorize because it is there. And for me, as a newer guy in the job, it's easy because it's already there. All I have to do is memorize it. And people who come after, all they have to do is just memorize it, and just get over the fear and over that nervousness of, in Cuba, we have a saying, if you need a car jack, just go ask the guy for the car jack. If you have to do your job, just get up and do your job. What's the worst I can say? No.
Yo, I mean,
my brother told me a long time. My brother told me, he said, Todd, I could never do this job because my nervousness would make me stay in the car. And guys, my solution to that is because I have the same problem. Who doesn't? I'm nervous too, but my nervousness makes me get out of the car. Right? My nervousness of, Todd, you need to have a paycheck. You need to pay the bills. You need to do these things. Get out of the car. So, all right, guys, it's 8:30. Let me start. I just want to skip through some of these and just kind of ask some of these questions, man. Number one, recognize the potential problem before it becomes a real problem. Right? Let's try and minimize the problem. Because one of the funny things over here is it says the first law of holes says when you're digging one, or when you're in one, stop digging. Stop making it bigger. So recognize that there is a problem, right? Mm-hmm. Number two, get a clear picture of the problem. Step back, deep breath. All right, now let's kind of analyze it. Call somebody, lean on somebody. Ask a question to help solve your problems. That's number three, okay? Number one, who knows the most about the problem? Who knows what I need to know? Who wants to tackle this problem? Who do I need to get buy-in from? Right? Have we earned enough trust to make needed changes? Guys, this job's about trust. People don't trust you all the time. I was with a new recruit the other day, man, and his demo, I was going through it and I did a presentation analysis and everything like that. And I was kind of giving him some tips and I looked at his face, man, and he didn't want to accept what I was saying. Right? And I just stopped for a second and I looked at him and I said, man, do you trust me? And he said, what? And I was like, do you trust me? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, I'm not attacking you. I'm helping you. And I need you to look at me and open your mind and absorb what I say. Be coachable. Work hard. Study hard. Be coachable. Right? What questions do I need to ask myself? Okay. So guys, all of these things are going to help you break down what you've got to do in order to make this better, in order to make yourself better. And we all know that it's always about making us better. It says, create a framework to examine problems and solutions. His has 6 keys. We can make up our own, man, or we can just say, you know what, these are good. Leadership. How does this problem affect our people? Personnel. Do we have the right people to help us with this problem? Timing. Is this the right time for a solution, or do we have enough time for it? It may not be the right time. You may not. You can't drop everything all the time and just go, let's solve it. Vision. How does the problem affect where we're trying to go? Is it something is it a speed bump, or is it an obstacle we're gonna have to swerve and go off to the side and come back around? Priorities. Are my problems taking me or the team away from our priorities? It can, guys. Your day can be filled up with problems. Okay? We've all had things in life that throw big monkey wrenches in our day, our week, our month, our life. Okay? Values. Are my values or my teams being compromised by this problem? Guys, this is integrity. Okay? Always stay true to who you are. People follow people that are true to who they are. Okay? And I always lean on the side of being humble and just accepting responsibility for it. Whether you want to or not, man, you just accept the possibility, just accept it, okay? And work with people so that it happens. So that you can help solve it, okay? He said, today my problem-solving method follows a 10-80-10 pattern where I try to do the first and last 10% of the problem solving and have others contribute to 80% of the problem. The first 10% is often focused on defining the problem for all of us. The next 80% of my time is spent listening to my team's ideas and facilitating their thinking. And the last 10 is my attempt to add value for leadership experience, guys. Let people try and solve it for them too. I mean, this helps with your kids, for crying out loud too, right? Give them the framework. See if they can solve it, and then come back in at the end and pick up the pieces or do whatever you need to do. Anybody else have any takeaways from chapter 5 that we could talk about or we need to talk about? Or
Y'all just remember the difference between a cow and a buffalo. That's always a good reminder when you got a problem. Everybody on this call knows the difference between a cow and a buffalo, right?
Yes.
Yes, one
The cow.
walks
the
into
cows
the
stay
storm.
there.
Sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
The cows huddle together and the buffaloes go into the storm head on.
No, cows run away from the storm.
That's
Therefore,
right. And the buffaloes go after it.
I'll for everybody. Cows want to run away from storms. Therefore, they are in the storm longer because they are running away from it and running with it. Buffaloes run into the storm. Therefore, they get through that storm much faster. Y'all, it's the same issue. It's the same exact concept when it comes to life and problems. You got to go after them. You got to run towards them. Deal with it, because if not, it's going to linger around. It's going to steal your joy from you. It's going to steal your energy. It's going to steal love from you. Don't let that happen. Run towards your problems. Face them, whether it has to do with family, whether it has to do with work, whatever the case is. And y'all, that's the thing about this career. You got to strive for growth, because, I'm not just, I'm a lot different man, today than I was 4 years ago before I came into this business. And I understand things on a much different level than I ever could have imagined before I came into this business, because of the people that we work with and the knowledge that you learn on these calls. And now, y'all, if you're not participating in the calls and you're not part of them and you're just on the call just to show your name on here, it's not helping you. You're not growing. And y'all, when you stop growing, you die. Okay. So, these calls, y'all, make sure you're reading the chapters, make sure you're participating in them. Because y'all, you got to strive for growth. That's the difference. And because y'all, this career and being part of these calls and going to all these meetings and things, y'all, it's not just going to make you a better salesman or a better saleswoman. It's going to make you a better wife, a better husband, a better father, a better mother, a better friend, a better manager. Y'all, all this information that we talk about, it's not just about work. It's about life and growing your knowledge just about life in general. That's the difference in being successful or not. You could have all the money in the world and still not be successful if you don't have that internal growth. I'm sure y'all have heard plenty of stories about people who've got millions and millions of dollars and they, kill themselves, or they're depressed and they're just sad and blah, 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 blah. It's because they don't have that internal strength and that internal growth that we try to learn and that we focus on all these calls. So y'all, if you want to grow, not just your business, but your life, that's what these calls are about. We're just throwing that
It says
out.
right here, I'll end with this, guys. Don't just solve people's problems for them, or you'll just have a group of followers. Okay. The goal is for them to have processed the problem, selected a solution, developed a game plan, and then taken ownership of it. This will deepen your relationship. This job's all about talking to people, finding a problem, giving them a solution. Okay?
And y'all, before you go to anybody with a problem, make sure you try to find a solution for it before you do. Because like I said, there's a big difference in being focused on a problem versus being focused on finding a solution. So whatever your problems are, don't think about what the problem is. Think about what the solution is. And I promise you, it'll make your day-to-day life so much easier. And it'll make a lot of the lives around you a lot easier. Just focus on solutions, y'all. That's
I
all
always try to remember. Everybody's got bigger problems than us, man. You think we got big problems, man? There's people out there with problems that make ours look like nothing. A drop in a bucket, right? So, all right, guys, cool. 8:39. I'm sorry for carrying it so long. We will be back on. My Zoom's up and running. We're not going to have that issue anymore because I have made one of the world's easiest passwords for myself. And I apologize about all the Zoom issues, about being locked out 28 million times, but I'm not sure what's going on. I am old. At my age, 49, you forget more than you know. So next week, Ed is going to carry us through chapter 6, but I will see you guys 8 a.m. next Tuesday. Love you guys.
Hey, and y'all just so y'all know that the meeting ID that we use this morning is going to be, this login that we use should be the same login moving forward. Now that we got Todd's technology issues resolved over there. So,
yep. Cool.
Love y'all.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great week. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
Good call, buddy.
Thank you, brother.